The gift from Grandpa's hands. In a small town, nestled beside a gentle river, there stood a house with red roof tiles that had faded under sun and rain. Its walls carried the marks of time, but the home was always filled with warmth. On the porch, an old wooden chair waited patiently, as though it knew who would come to rest upon it each day. More often than not, an elderly man sat there, his hair as white as morning mist, his body slender but dignified, radiating calmness and kindness. That was Lisa's grandfather. Lisa was a 13-year-old girl with long brown hair, tied neatly into a ponytail. Her eyes sparkled like a clear autumn lake, curious and full of life. Every afternoon after school, she would dash through the gate, her white shoes dusted with the red earth of the path, and leap straight into her grandfather's arms. In Lisa's world, her grandfather was more than family. He was a fortress, a guardian, a safe harbor where she could always rest when her parents were too busy with work. Each evening, the village road glowed with golden sunset. Cicadas buzzed in the bamboo groves, their songs mingling with the sound of the river flowing nearby. Lisa's laughter echoed as she skipped into the yard, where her grandfather always waited. He usually wore a faded beige shirt, the collar frayed with age. A newspaper often rested in his hands, though he never hesitated to fold it aside the moment Lisa appeared. His eyes, lined with wrinkles, still shone with boundless love. "Grandpa," Lisa said one afternoon, her lips pouting, "my teacher gave me a science project today, but I don't even know where to start." Her grandfather chuckled, his voice deep yet gentle. "Then let's figure it out together, my dear. Science, like life, always begins with the smallest things." And so, their afternoons were filled with laughter and patient explanations. On other days, he would lead her to the backyard, where neat rows of vegetables swayed gently in the breeze. He showed her how to loosen the soil, plant tiny seeds, and water them carefully. Planting a seed, he told her, is like planting hope. You won't see it grow right away, but with patience, it will break the soil and reach for the light. Lisa loved his hands, thin and veined, marked by years of work. They were the hands that once tilled fields, built the family's home, and carried his children. Now, those same hands guided her in every little task. Whenever her small fingers slipped into his, she felt as though courage and strength flowed straight into her heart. But Lisa never noticed how often he squinted, how sometimes he leaned closer than usual to see her school papers, or how his steps had grown more careful on the garden path. One sweltering summer afternoon, while sunlight streamed through the branches and painted shifting golden patterns on the ground, Lisa wandered past the living room. The door was ajar, and she heard her mother's trembling voice. "Darling, Father's eyesight is getting worse. The doctor said it's cataracts. If it advances, he may one day lose his vision almost completely." But he refuses to tell Lisa. Her father sighed heavily. "He doesn't want to burden her," he said. "As long as he can still hold her hand, that's enough." Lisa froze. Her breath caught, and her hand rose to cover her mouth. Tears welled in her eyes. All this time, she had thought her grandfather was unshakably strong, her eternal protector. Yet behind his gentle smile, he had been hiding his fading vision, carrying the fear alone, so she could stay carefree. That night, Lisa lay awake. She stared at the ceiling, remembering how he had once led her down the bamboo-lined village path, teaching her the names of every flower. She thought of his eyes when he looked at her, eyes already clouded with mist, which she had never noticed. The thought that he might one day no longer see her face made her sob quietly into her pillow. The next morning, sunlight spilled into her small room. She stepped onto the porch, and there he was again, in his usual chair, wearing the same faded shirt. His silver hair was tousled gently by the wind. He looked up and smiled warmly, just as always. But this time, Lisa didn't greet him with her usual cheer. She walked straight to him and wrapped her arms around him tightly, her small frame pressing against his chest. Startled, he stroked her hair and asked softly, "Why is my little girl hugging me so tightly today?" Lisa lifted her tear-filled eyes, her voice trembling. "Grandpa, you don't always have to be strong for me. I want to be strong for you too." For a long moment, her grandfather said nothing. The deep lines on his face softened, his lips quivering. Then, with tears glistening in his eyes, he whispered, "Oh, you've already given me the greatest strength. You've given me a reason to keep living with joy, even if these eyes grow dim." From that day on, Lisa changed. She was no longer just the granddaughter guided by him. She became his eyes. She supported him on their familiar walks, describing every detail: the crimson blossoms of the flame trees, the children playing with kites, the sparrows hopping from branch to branch. At night, she read aloud to him, her clear voice filling the cozy house with stories and laughter. In the garden, she guided his hands to the vegetable rows, describing how the sprouts were stretching toward the sun. To neighbors, it looked like nothing more than a granddaughter caring for her aging grandfather. But to Lisa, it was a journey of love, patience, and growth. And to him, each moment with her was a priceless gift that softened the sorrow of his fading vision. As the weeks passed, the cataracts worsened. Sometimes he stumbled. Sometimes the world around him blurred into shadows. But Lisa never let him feel alone. "Tell me what you see today, Grandpa," she would say, placing her hand in his. He would smile and reply, "See you, my dear. That's all I need." The small town remained peaceful under the glow of the setting sun. Lisa's laughter rang out, blending with her grandfather's deep chuckles, echoing through their flower-filled garden. Deep in her heart, Lisa realized something profound. Family was not only a place to receive love, it was where one learned to give love. Her grandfather had once been her unshakable protector. Now, she had become his reason to keep moving forward. Their story closed with the truth, as simple as it was eternal. Family is not about who is stronger, it is about being strong together. And Lisa knew, those frail, time-worn hands of her grandfather, though weakened by age and blurred sight, would forever be the most precious gift. For they had taught her what unconditional love truly means.